Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, welcome to another episode of the Chaps Chat Cats, part of the Hoops Crew Media Network. More on that in just a minute.
Very nice.
It is very nice.
Oh, it is very nice.
Very nice.
It's very nice. Do you know what else is nice, chaps? There's been a lot of good things happening this week. We're going to talk about some, but one of the things is the return from the wilderness of a man who we thought was lost to us forever. A man who had previously done some work on this show, who had been driven out, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes you got to get rid of people so they can learn from their mistakes.
Cut the loose end.
And then they can exactly cut the dead wood. Sometimes though,
the roses,
when
the
you
rose
cut that,
figures out there.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes when you make that cut, new growth happens.
Yeah, exactly. And new growth has happened.
So that's right. We'd like to welcome back behind the virtual glass in production of the show, Colin Katsis. Welcome back, Colin. Opportunity number 2 for Colin. And we'll just see
Don't
how
stuff
it
it up
goes.
this time.
That's right. Do not stuff it up. As Eminem said, knees weak, mum's spaghetti. So yeah, welcome back, Colin.
Got one more opportunity. You better take it with both hands. Otherwise, it'll be out the door.
Absolutely.
Quick, swift kick up the butt. But, I've got a bit of faith in him that he could, pull it off this time. How about you guys?
Johnny's really come around on Colin. Yeah, like that's the most that not only is it the most pleasant thing John has ever said to Colin, it might be the most pleasant thing anyone has ever said to Colin. I think I've got some faith in him. I think he can pull it off.
HR seminar on the treatment of co-workers does wonders, doesn't it, John?
It does. It really does. I've still got the pamphlet around here somewhere.
Excellent.
Ready to wipe your ass
Fantastic.
with.
Yeah.
Let's crank into. There's a lot to get through. Going to do about 45 minutes on the public show. Then we're going to nip behind the Patreon subscription curtain, and we're going to do our annual Christmas lunch draft. We will be going head to head in the blood sport of drafting Christmas lunch table.
Who gets the trifle this year?
That's basically it. Whoever ends up with the number 1 pick, it's going to be trifle. John had it last time.
Yeah.
And I've spent 12 months thinking about it. If you want to hear that part of the show, go on over to the chat. Oh, wow. It's not the Chaps Chat Cats Patreon. That's been rebranded.
Whoa.
Go on over to the Hoops Crew.
Oh.
The Hoops Crew Patreon subscription. $5 Aussie dollars a month. It's still in American though. It says $3.50 US. Don't let that alarm you. It'll be about five-ish bucks, depending on inflation. So go on over and subscribe there if you want all the bonus content. There's going to be a lot more of that coming your way because as we transition to talk about the big announcement, and that is that we are moving into a fabulous new adventure in 2024 and I guess the tail end of 2023. Chaps, it's been in the works for a little while. I've been talking to Ben and Paul of the Hoops Show, how we could possibly, make a partnership work. And we finalized everything over a lovely lunch in Castlemaine yesterday.
Yep.
So without further ado, we are now part of the Hoops Crew. It's a union of the Hoops Show and the Chaps Chat Cats. I'm really excited about it. What about you boys?
Absolutely.
I assume you're in the same boat.
No, I'm in a different boat. I think it's
one
of the worst decisions we could have made.
John and I have been having a good chat off to the side.
Yeah.
We met at a separate pub after we dropped you off. Had a few more drinks, talked at length. We think it's a terrible idea. We're taking the chaps elsewhere. You can join the Hoops.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're branching off on our own.
Well,
right.
As you said, sometimes you need to prune to make new growth. You're getting your new growth, and we'll grab our own.
You guys have you've pruned me.
That's right.
So yeah,
Basically.
It's all an elaborate way to tell you. It's over,
you
Jake.
can't.
We thought we'll do it just jumping on you at the last second while
Publicly.
we're publicly. Yeah, just, catch you off guard. You might take it a bit better.
Thanks.
You might not. I don't know. Don't really care at this point.
Ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
Just like
on the
board. Talking absolute shit. So we're obviously we're very excited.
Yes.
To be joining the hoops crew alongside Ben and Paul. I think it's going to be really exciting and a real great opportunity, not just for ourselves, but also for all the fans of the Chaps and the Hoops. I think this is really an exciting period of time for the Cats fans and ourselves. And I can't wait for it to really get the ball rolling next year.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Like, I think it's going to be such a good opportunity, as you guys both said. I'm just looking forward to kind of being part of a community, feeling like we're not just out there on our own, sitting in the sound booth. That's for Colin to do, sit on his own in the sound booth. But us, we'll be part of a team now. We'll be part of a team. Colin obviously wasn't there for the meeting. He doesn't get to meet. Okay, we had a lovely drop or two and a meal all together with us and Ben and Paul. Colin didn't get to come. He sat in the car. We cracked a window, and I think he was all right. I mean, he seems mostly awake back there.
Got a doggy bag for him.
Yep.
So
basically,
he's also chronically car sick, and we did drive him all the way to Castlemaine to sit in the car.
Yeah.
But
we also did have that bowl of water in the back seat for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a bit, just to I guess put the nitty gritty on it for anyone who's wondering how it impacts your listening experience. It basically shouldn't. All that's going to change is
it's going to be
really
better.
Exactly. You'll see more of us on YouTube. If you go over to YouTube and look up the Hoops Crew, then moving forward and into 2024, you're going to see more of us on YouTube. And in your podcast feed, if you're subscribed to the Chaps Chat Cats, you'll just notice that's going to change to the Hoops Crew. And along with the Chaps Chat Cats episodes in the feed, you'll also get things like Behind the Play, some of Paul's great interviews. I know that Ben is musing on some stuff for his show as well, which I think would be really good if it comes off. But, there's going to be lots. It's basically the same, slightly with some slight rebrands, but with more stuff. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for me is it's an opportunity for 5 people who are doing similar stuff to get together and pool resources. And I think that opens a door for almost daily Geelong Cats content, close to year round. Definitely during the season, I would imagine there's not going to be almost 7 days a week of stuff for you to listen to, for you to watch. So, really excited about it. If, and make sure you're jumping on board if you want to listen. Hit follow on the Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you want to throw a few shekels the Hoops Crew's way, there's ways to do that on Patreon. There's ways to do that on YouTube. So, that's the big announcement.
Probably a good opportunity to say thanks to Ben as well. I think, and Paul, of course, as well. But I think this really has been Ben's kind of impetus and brainchild for a while. He's kind of been toying with this idea for a while, and so obviously from my point of view, and I think you guys' point of view as well, it's also, all jokes aside and even just excitement aside, pretty grateful that he's been putting the word out there and also thinking quite often about how we can do this, and pretty grateful for that, and just happy it's all come together.
Absolutely. Now,
And before
we're all
move,
go for the same team. We're all talking about the one team, so it does make a lot of sense that why not pool resources and
all batting for the same side.
Exactly. So I think right. Same as you, Sam. Thanks to Ben for doing this, and pulling us all into a nice, neat bundle. And I think it's really exciting. And I think it's the most exciting part is for the fans. I think all the fans of not just ourselves, but Ben and Paul's stuff it's a win-win situation all around. You're not going to lose anything, and you're going to gain a whole heap.
Couldn't agree more there. And I just want to close by saying, and we're allowed to get self-indulgent for a couple of minutes. I just want to say I am like super proud of you two lads. If I think back to when we started this thing, I was just thinking today when I was rebranding like the Patreon and stuff, and I was just like, this started like so tiny in like back in 2021, and we didn't really know what the hell we were doing. And just the idea of like forming like a partnership with another, entity, and just thinking like, 200-ish shows and a couple of years. I'm very proud and grateful to be doing this with you lads, because we've been doing stuff for a long time. But I don't know, this feels really special, and couldn't imagine two better dudes to have been podcasting with for the last like 3 years. It's been a very, very much a privilege from my end.
Oh, absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better.
That's right. Couldn't agree more. But likewise, Jake. Likewise. I mean, you've I don't want to say dragged us through it, propped us up, but those words come to mind. That through the in a good way, through the like I don't know that it would have continued, and that it definitely wouldn't have grown the way it has without your work. We might still be doing it, sitting in our rooms recording it for 15 people, but I don't think it ever would have expanded the way it has without all the effort you put in behind the scenes. So
absolutely,
yeah,
you are the foundation to this,
and a massive
time.
Thank you as well to the people of the real foundation, and that is the people who listen, who watch, who subscribe. There also wouldn't be a podcast if you didn't do it, if you didn't do all those things. So plug in for the rest of the adventure. That's what I would say. Come along on the rest of the journey, because I think it's only just getting started. Speaking of only just getting started, we're only just getting started here on the show. We need to get into some off-season bits and bobs, the second volume of off-season bits and bobs. And we're going to start with the AFL men's news, the biggest headline out of this week. And then we'll move into some AFLW topics. Number one, AFL men's Tom Stewart to 2027 and midfield ambitions. Hot under the collar emoji. Yes, sir, indeed. Tom Stewart.
Let's some of that
website. That's right. I need to give me a fan in here. I need some ice water. Tom Stewart set to be a cat for life after committing to the Geelong Football Club till the end of 2027, signing a 3-year contract extension. The article on the Cats website goes on to list, there's a mature age selection, all of these things, a premiership defender, 2-time Carji Grooves medal winner. He's been awarded a 5 All-Australian Blazers in just 7 AFL season, and now been the club's vice captain for 2 years. Let's start first of all with the extension, chaps. How, on the scale of 1 to, I'm very aroused. How excited are you about this? What do you think? What were your thoughts when you saw the article come out?
Very aroused, absolutely, and not really super surprised. It would have been a big shock if Tom Stewart didn't sign on to be a cat for life. So makes perfect sense. It's good that he signed on until 2027. That basically could take him to the end of his career, which is fantastic. So very, very excited, very aroused, and especially about midfield ambitions. But it's also, do we want him in the midfield or do we want him in the back? It's like they've obviously got plans if they're talking about putting him in the midfield for coverage in the back line. So as we always say, we are a long way away from the Cats. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We'll just speculate. But we'll trust what the Cats know, because they know what's the best for the team. And if Tom Stewart's going in midfield for a few games, bring it on. Absolutely. He could do wonderful things in that midfield group.
Sambo?
Yeah, I mean, I am also excited and keen and optimistic in general. I think hopefully not to at all be pessimistic about it, but hopefully this is a proactive move. Hopefully this is a positive tactic based on his ability and what he wants to do with his career and the potential that he has, as opposed to God, our midfield
screwed.
Our midfield is not quite what we wanted. Let's pad it out with some Tom Stewart. So that's all I'd say. That the only little bit of trepidation I have is the I just hope it's not a PR spin that he knows he has to because we're desperate and he's trying to go. Oh yeah, I'm really keen for this.
I really want to.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. I do think that we're looking at guys like Jack Henry and Sam SDK to kind of. I mean, Henry obviously had an pretty I think interrupted season would be a kind way of putting it.
Very kind.
He had an interrupted stint on the sidelines. And like SDK, I think we didn't really do a real deep dive on individual players from last year, and I don't think he embarrassed himself or anything. But I think we'll be looking at him to sort of build upon what he's done and what he's definitely what he did in the Premiership year. So I think so long as those guys are sort of building a solid defense, and this is a proactive and positive move forward as opposed to kind of a bit of negative chess to try and cover holes, then yeah, I'm all for it. I kind of can't imagine our backline ever lining up at least part of the time without Tom Stewart in there, but I'm also super ready for a reality where by the end of next season we kind of forget, oh yeah, Tom Stewart used to be a defender. if that's a multiverse we can live in, then I'm happy with that.
I feel like surely this is just basically an extension of what they were toying around with last year. Because remember, there was an interview with Chris Scott, I'm sure a press conference where he talked about, well, I've wanted to try Tom Stewart in midfield for ages, and we just had the opportunity to do it in this game. So like, I don't think it's something that's come out of thin air. It feels like something that's been developing.
Yeah.
There's a little from column A, a little from column B. Part of it being like, we really like we do like what we've got. However, if we ever had to break glass in case of emergency, we do like the fact that we could roll Stewart into the midfield. I mean, yeah, I think you could. I think you're right, Sambo, and I'm glad you've brought that part of it up. Like the ever so slightly nervous / pessimistic take of like, is this the preparation of the world's most epic Band-Aid?
Is this for whack-a-mole round 2?
Yeah, because let's face it, last year, and we went back statistically, we absolutely struggled in the midfield. Like we just never got anything going. It's what set us back massively. You can contrast that with the AFLW, who had 3 players inside the top 15 or at least the top 20 in Nina Morrison, Georgie Prasparkas, and Amy McDonald for most midfield stats. You had to go. Tom Stewart averaged our most disposals of any player. And he was, I can't remember if we had how many were in the top 50, but not many anyway. So I think there's reasons to be optimistic because of what we've drafted and because of the history of development from the Cats and how they develop players and all that sort of thing. But I do cast my memory back to when Tom Stewart went into the midfield in 2022, and it was when we looked absolutely listless against the Brisbane Lions, and they threw there towards the end of the third and throughout the fourth, and suddenly we had a spark. So it's a nice option to have, but you would be hoping that we don't have to use it, ideally.
Yeah, to be
Fingers
to be
crossed.
like to be perfectly honest, if this is the way they're going, I would rather and I don't know if this is controversial. I know some people don't share this opinion. I would rather them go whole cloth with this, and Tom Stewart is now a midfielder, and we put him back when we're desperate, as opposed to Tom Stewart's the defender, and we're going to roll him up as often as we can. Like if Tom Stewart is playing more minutes in the midfield, I'd kind of like them to commit to that as much as they can. I don't know that I love the idea of him being. He's a player. Well, we'll see. We might go here. Depends who we've got, what else we've got, blah blah blah. Like I would like that will put more confidence in me about their plan with it. If they're sticking with it, if it's they're trying they're doing it as much as they can. They're starting that way. Just because for one, it shows faith in the back line without him. And two, it shows that this is a game plan. This is something that we're doing. We're not doing it because we're struggling. We can't make it. We're doing it because we think this is the best way to line up our players and to line up Tom Stewart, and also possibly the best way to get him to the center of the ground because captains are usually midfielders, and he's going to be the next captain. So there's a I don't know.
He needs a chance to win a Brownlow too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it makes if I'm making any sense to you guys, but I would rather see them really committing to this and going, Tom Stewart's a midfielder. We're only going to roll him back because Jack Henry did his ankle, or that because he's never going to struggle. Like Tom Stewart, you feel will from now until the end of time, we'll be able to roll back as a defender and know what he's doing and crush it back there. So I think you might as well commit to giving him game time, real genuine game time in the midfield.
Yeah, why not? And it could just be one of those things where it could be a training situation as well, where they're going, we want to get more time to Jai Clark because he only played not even a quarter of a game last year. So maybe it's during a training, they've got him, Dangerfield, Atkins, and Guthrie all in there training Jai Clark up against some really incredibly good players to get him ready for the season. Maybe it could just be something like that, which I wouldn't mind either, because why wouldn't you want to be trained by some of the best players in the league, especially on your team as well? So that could be another one. But yeah, I think you're right, Sam. I think why not just, if they are going to chuck him in the midfield, go absolutely full on and play him from the midfield every game. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think our defensive team is good enough without him to withstand whatever attack, especially if Henry's back fit and firing and STK gets back to his 2022 form. Yeah, there's.
I think we're
all reason. Yeah, sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say I've probably been made a little bit more nervous by having this conversation. If I'm completely honest,
it's great. No, I'm super excited. Wait, where's the sound drop?
No.
I think it's good to have a bit of nerves, though. It's a bit of an unknown where the cat's going. Second year without
because I think, like, I know everyone and us included were like, Radicalia probably not in the best 22. At least that was our stance. Blah blah blah. But it's like that was under the assumption that you had Stewart, Henry, and Sam de Koning, all patrolling the back line. So I think
it could also.
I hear where you're coming from, Sam. On it, I reckon that they're just literally preparing him for a break glass situation.
Could also just be one of
whether
those,
you agree with it or not.
Let's just chuck him in that training a few times and then release some BS stories. There's going to be a midfielder to throw off the other teams in the competition.
That's also true. All right, let's get into let's move past. We've probably done plenty on Tommy Stewart. Let's talk about, we had one cat signing on, but we're crossing over to the AFLW now, and we're talking about a cat who has now departed, and that's one of my faves. Annabelle Johnson, no longer a cat, has been traded to the Eagles in a deal that involved 3 clubs the Eagles, the Brisbane Lions, and the Cats. Cats received Balla Smith from the Lions, along with pick 32 and 41. Johnson headed to the Eagles. Lions, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about the rest? The main parts being a player who I really thought we missed at times this season in Annabelle Johnson. I thought she was one of our best, like, sort of like medium defenders that she could play. You know, she was good enough to play against talls. She was good enough to play against smalls. Calm head under pressure. Good contested mark. Has obviously struggled a bit with injury. And I believe some of the reasons I was seeing some chatter on Twitter that her family or a mum or something is over in WA. That was at least some of the stuff that I'd just seen floating around Twitter. Doesn't say anything about that in the article, so that could be total BS. But I'm pretty gutted. Not gutted, like I understand. Like I shouldn't say gutted because like, oh, she shouldn't have left. Totally understand the reasons why players leave clubs, move on. We've benefited hugely from other players leaving their clubs to come to the Cats. It's more just this one stings a little bit because I thought she was an automatic selection for the Cats if healthy. Do you guys have any thoughts on this or Balla Smith coming in? Obviously, I've got the reliable Rookie Me Central draft profile on Balla Smith because she only got the one game this season. She's had her own injury issues. What are your sort of thoughts about this one?
Yeah, a bit disappointed, same as you, that we've lost Annabelle Johnson, but also going, well, we did all right without her. I think the Cats would be fine without Annabelle Johnson as well. It would have been really good, yeah, obviously, to hold on to her and have that extra depth in the defensive and midfield units. But if the Cats stay healthy, then it's a big loss, but it's also one that the Cats weren't. It's not like losing Sparkus or a Morrison or a Amy McDonald or a Meg McDonald, one of those like super key, super strong, really reliable, and just superstars of the competition. I think Annabelle Johnson could become a superstar, and I hope she does for West Coast Eagles. I think this is best for her. Then go for it, and definitely missed by us guys. She was definitely one of my favourites, and yeah, all the best. And as we all know, this happens. And I'm still just pretty happy that Cats are not losing a lot of players like other teams are getting pretty much pillaged every single year. So still pretty grateful that Cats, a lot of the Cats players are remaining and choosing to stay with the Cats. And I'm not sure much on Balla Smith. As you said, she's only played one game. I think from what I hear, she's like a midfield / forward. So yeah, bring her in, see what she can do. Welcome to the Cats, and looking forward to seeing her flaunting the hoops next year.
Yeah, I
Anything to add?
agree.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I agree overall. I think she was a really good player. I think I would add that. I think you were saying you felt like she was a set lock, like a locked starter. I think she probably was, which makes me think that there's probably other factors going on, even if it's the other factor is just a really, really damn good offer from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Or Daisy Pierce stole her and took her with her. But which is, but yeah, like I think I'm also on the side of the coin that John's on as well, going like I'm not as gutted as I would have been one season ago. Do you know what I mean? Like we have demonstrated our ability
Sure.
to operate without her. Maybe prior to this season, I would have felt like it was a bit more doom and gloom, but mostly it's just that again, that personal preference. Like we said, she's one of our favorites, so it sucks that she's not going to be there anymore. But as far as the team goes, I'm not too concerned with the impact it will have.
Sure. No, that's fair enough. So just to sort of give a little bit, because not many of us would have watched much Balla Smith, given she only played the one AFLW game. Rookie Me Central, which is like the place, I know I spruik it a fair bit, but they are exceptional if you want your draft coverage and that sort of thing. On her draft profile, they list Bella Smith is a strong inside midfielder who excels at the coalface, is capable of getting it clear from congestion with clean hands and power. Her strength, power, contested ball, clean hands, inside game clearances. Needs to improve outside game. Improve the outside game, wing more of it on the spread. Once she does that and can tidy up those areas going forward, she'll be a dual threat. So like, I think I kind of get why we need to keep adding players like that. And I also think you just never know, like, also how players can be repurposed. Like, you only have to look at Rachel Kearns this year to go, well, we thought she was going to be one thing and she's turned into something quite different. Like, there's all sorts of, and even that, like that hard inside midfielder thing. We've lost Renee Gehring too, in terms of her, hard contested footy. So I think it makes sense to me. It's nice to get something, in return for that trade, as well as the picks. And I guess we just get to have a look at a player who maybe just needs that, change of scenery, new start, all that thing at a new club. It's definitely worked out for the Cats in situations like this before. But yeah, thanks, Annabelle Johnson, for everything you did for the Cats in your time here, and all the best moving forward with your career. And speaking, moving forward, let's move on to our final little off-season bits and bobs part of the show. The AFLW, the Cats core signs on. Chaps, the AFLW, not always, a picture of, organizational stability, particularly not from a rostering standpoint. With players leaving left, right, and center. The Cats retained 26 players, signed extensions. These are the Cats who signed on. Michaela Bowen, Amy McDonald, Darcy Maloney. This is the playing list as of right now. Plus, we've got two extra draftees, which we'll talk about in a minute. Michaela Bowen, Amy McDonald, Darcy Maloney, Jackie Parry, Julia Crockett-Grills, Kate Sermon, Kate Darby, Nina Morrisons, Georgie Rankin, Megan McDonald, Liv Fuller, Chloe Shear, Shelley Scott, Chantel Emerson, Anna Rose Kennedy, Brooke Plummer, Zali Friswell, Becky Webster, Rachel Kearns, Claudia Gunjaka, Gabby Featherston, Abby McDonald, Georgie Prasparkas, Melissa Bragg, Aisling Maloney, Erin Hoare, and Bella Smith. We drafted Bridie O'Rourke. Is it Bridie O'Rourke or is it Brid O'Rourke? I'm always not sure on those ones.
Bridie.
But anyway.
I've been saying it
Bridie O'Rourke. All right, cool. Well, we'll go with that until corrected. Bridie O'Rourke and Chantel Mason. So one spot left to fill, but Chaps, not only were they little 1 year extensions, 4-year deals for Georgie Prasparkas, Nina Morrison, and Becky Webster. Chloe Shear, Jackie Parry, and Michaela Bowen getting 3-year extensions. Amy McDonald, Emerson, Crockett Grills, Georgie Rankin, all signing multi-year deals. The other 13 players will remain in the hoops until at least the end of 2024. What are we thinking? What strikes you about this? What are your initial thoughts and takeaways?
Good. I'll let Sam go first this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, Jake. It's not always been the picture of stability. Following a pretty much any AFLW team. Really with the expansion and the way the league is in its in its relative infancy. That's the nature of the beast is that overall a lot of the times things are pretty fluid, and so it's just super exciting to have the season we just had and then see that kind of core group sticking around and making such long-term commitments is it's super exciting. As we said, one of the most engaging seasons of football that we've watched, and so the idea that we're in for more of the same and even better is just it feels feels like a lot more of a reality now. Knowing that the team is getting a bit of stability, bit of consistency goes a long way, both for the playing group and for a fan group as well. Like, you know, as we've talked about, the spread of the fan base and the inflation of the amount of people that were engaged towards the end of that season. It could be really disheartening for people that are jumping on board a club and the players they latch onto leave the way they often do in the past. So like, I think it's really good, not only for just the playing group and the way that they're going to be able to build upon what they just did, but also the membership and the fan base to get that kind of consistency is super exciting. And yeah, I just can't wait. I don't want to by any means wish away the AFLM, but I am super excited for the next AFLW season.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting that 26 players signed on for the Cats, and just shows you how strong the culture, the message that Dan Lowther and the whole Cats club has put out to them, that, you know, it must have been a really good message for all these, basically the whole playing list to sign on, except one player who moved for, different reasons. But yeah, I think that's a pretty remarkable retention rate. Like, you rarely see that in any team in any league. So well done to the Cats, and yeah, very excited to see such superstars sign on for multiple years, especially Georgie Prasparkas. I think that's one that really got me excited, knowing that there was a lot of talk of her moving to Essendon last year, and then nothing this year. And I was like, when this deal was done, I thought back to the trade period. I was like, there was nothing about the Cats, nothing about Georgie. It's like, I reckon she must be pretty set in the Cats, pretty happy there. So yeah, that was really exciting. And then to see the rest is, pretty fantastic. And really can't wait for the next AFLW season. I think next year again could be an absolute super fun year for the Cats, AFLM and AFLW. I think it could be a rip-roaring year.
We put the question up after the episodes. I can put a little question or a poll, and the question on an episode maybe a couple ago was, will both the AFL men's and AFL women's Cats make finals in 2024? And it was pretty resounding yes. And I think that's definitely possible. The thing that strikes me is obviously being able to retain experienced stars, but that makes sense to me. That like these are players who it's like, well, we're playing good footy, we're in a good place, we want to be settled, and we want to be here. So that makes sense to me. But the ability to lock down those young players and those 4-year deals, like Johnny, you covered Prasparkas, who's only 20, Nina Morrison 23, Becky Webster 23, like prime years of their career are now locked up at the Cattery. You've now got 3 incredibly important players, in your pocket, sort of thing. And yeah, I'm super excited. I've even just noticed, like, the increase in quality and production and that sort of thing, and regularity with which, the AFLW, like the club socials are promoting and how they're promoting, like getting, I think it was Amy McDonald and others, like driving down to surprise the draftees and all that sort of stuff. Like, I just think
that was a great video.
Like, hats off to the way that they're doing this and building it both on and off the field, as we talked about, the massive surge in membership, the surge in quality on the field, and now this huge signs for the maintaining of that progress. I'll quickly round it off, chaps, by just giving you the information about the 2 players drafted. Bridie O'Rourke, again, going to the draft Bible here on Rookie Me Central. Bridie O'Rourke, strength, speed, size, versatility, evasion, offensive game, upside, probably needs to improve, kicking consistency and endurance. I was just trying to think, some of that speed, size, versatility, evasion stuff, makes me think of a player almost like Aisling Maloney. I was trying to see what the height comparisons and that sort of are, and whether there's like a basketball background or anything like that. But
their father
very
did play 2 games for the Cats.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the father-daughter
Father-daughter
pick. I'm with you.
selection.
Yeah.
Melbourne did it on there as well.
And so sucked in Melbourne. We got her.
Yeah.
So it says O'Rourke has the raw traits to be a very exciting player at the top level with explosive speed that stands out on the field, coupled with her ability to pull off a slick sidestep, sounding very much like Aisling Maloney. Her athletic base itself is what clubs are looking for in a player. Add in her 175 centimeter height, and she will often be taller than most opponents one-on-one. Chaps, this is something we've talked about for a while. Remember I talked about the Adelaide Crows game? They just have all these mutants. They have all these athletic freaks. Not only they're taller than us, they're faster than us. That is starting to turn. When you have players like Aisling, when you bring in players like Bridie O'Rourke, all that, that's exciting. The other player is Chantel Mason. Chantel Mason, again, rookie me central. Go read it. She's 177 centimeters. Chantel Mason came from the Clouds this season, dominating inside 50 to win the Coates Talent League Girls Leading Goal Kicker Award, slammed home 31 goals in 13 games and another 5 in finals to take the lead goal kicking award by just 1 goal. Forward craft and strength overhead is what really stands out. Her ground level work is an area to improve. So if you want, I just feel like I'm probably not qualified to speak about the ins and outs of their performance. I'm excited by the profiles. Do you chaps have anything to sort of add there, or are you happy just to direct people to where the experts lie?
Same as you. Go to the experts. Go to Rookie Me. Pretty excited myself after hearing that little bit from Rookie Me. But bring him in, see how they go. They've got plenty of time to hone their craft, improve their skills, build up their strength and whatnot, because the Cats are still pretty strong in all those areas. But to have these 2 young players coming in and be fit and ready to go when the Cats need them is just good. Excellent work by the Cats.
Yeah. 100%. All right. I don't think there's anything else to add. We're going to duck now behind the curtain and do our Christmas draft. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's listened, who has watched, who has subscribed, all of that sort of stuff. You're all bloody legends. Please come with us on the rest of the journey. It's only just getting started. We're going to get into some really fun times. There's some excellent Cats coverage around the corner. Lots of fun to be had. Would like to direct you as well. Go on over to the Hoops Crew YouTube channel and search up. I'm thinking, we're going to do an episode now. We're not going to do one again until, middle of next week, probably, in the aftermath of Christmas. And there's a lot of work. We all work in, hospitality / entertainment industries. Sounds a bit risque for some reason.
It does.
Doesn't sound as risque as it really is.
That's right.
We've got to keep some of the mystery.
Magic Mike Australia at Chukamoama Sporties to do. So what I was going to say is, if you're looking for some Cats content, always go back and listen to our old episodes because there's lots of good stuff to hit. But go on over and look at some of the episodes on the Hoops Crew YouTube channel, pointing you towards the behind the play interviews that Paul has done. There's one with Kate Sermon, which was done 6 months ago. So got in early with that one, which looks like a goodie. You should go and listen to that. There's one with Phoenix Foster. There's one with James Button, who's the author of Comeback, great book about the Cats. Also, Razor Ray, for those who want the insight into umpiring. But Steve Hocking, a couple of months ago, Paul interviewed Steve Hocking. So go and hit those up because they're excellent content to get you through the holiday and festive period while we're all eating copious amounts of trifle. With all that said, Thanks so much, chaps, for recording with me. You bloody legends. Can't wait to advance into this new part of the adventure. This is the Chaps Chat Cats, part of the Hoops Crew Media Network. Signing off until next time. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.